Hey guys, this is Callum from EnglishShooting and I'm here in the Bluefield Sports Gun Room to, well, talk to you about a few guns. And if you haven't already guessed from the title of the video, it's the 3 guns I would never sell. Now, I'm sure many of you are already aware that I went through the processes of having my certificates revoked, the FAC and the SGC that allows people in the UK to own and possess firearms. Now, an important point in law in terms of the language that I use, these are still my possessions because they were bought whilst I had the certificates and whilst I was lawful to possess them. They are still my property. I just don't have the certificates to be able to possess, buy, sell and sort of go about freely as I would want to with them. But they are stored here at Bluefield Sports. I still have really good contact with them, supervised visits, but see them pretty much every single day, get to shoot them fairly often as well under the various exemptions. But I went through that process and really had to sit down and work out which guns I was going to sell and which guns, come hell or high water, I was going to keep. And some of the guns were easy decisions either way, and some were a little bit more difficult. But these are the 3 guns that no matter what happens, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how expensive it is, I would not let go, and I would do everything to keep them available to me in whatever guise that I can. And hopefully when I receive my FAC and SGC again, I'll be able to sign them straight onto my licenses. But these were the 3 guns that I was always going to keep. There was no question about it. Now I'm going to start with a gun that you've seen many times, that I've made many videos on, and that is my Beretta Silver Pigeon 1 Sporter. I bought this for my 21st birthday and it was actually a present from my mum and dad, and because of the way that the laws work in the UK, they couldn't buy it for me. They couldn't even transfer the money to the gun shop. They had to give me the money and then I had to go and buy it myself. And I went down to Portsmouth Gun Centre, not too far away from here. I actually bought a number of guns from them over the years, but I went down and they didn't have one in stock, and it was on my birthday that I went there, and I said, look, this is my birthday, I want to go out and shoot my new gun, and they phoned up GMK, luckily just down the road as well from here, and they had one in stock. So one of the guys from the shop jumped in my car, we drove over to GMK to pick it up. But the funniest thing is when I walked into the reception and said, well, I'm here to pick up a Beretta, the guy looked at me and said, well, which one? We've got a Beretta 92 FS and a Beretta Silver Pigeon waiting to be picked up. It's like very, very tempting to say the 92 FS, but of course no, went for the Silver Pigeon, drove back to Portsmouth Gun Centre, signed it onto my licenses, and I went off to the clay range with a number of friends. But it's sentimental because it was my 21st birthday present, and it's sentimental because of what I've done with it. I've gone clay pigeon shooting, God knows how many times, all around the country with it. I've been out and been introduced to game shooting with it, went on my first game day with it, and been out pigeon shooting for the first time with it. There's been a lot of firsts with this gun, and I've also competed for the first time in practical shooting. I did my first few sessions of PSG with this gun, so it really has been through my sort of journey and discovery of shooting here within the UK, and then of course being a present from my mum and dad. It's just, you know, so much sentimental value, but of course it's a 12 gauge shotgun. I pretty much feel everybody has to have a 12 gauge shotgun because of how versatile the different applications and sort of activities you can take place with one of these guns. So yes, not one I'm ever going to sell, and very much hope to one day pass this down to future generations of my family. Another gun that you've seen before on the channel, I made a video a few months ago, actually the first video when starting back up the channel, and this is my late granddad's air rifle. It's a BSA Mercury in 2.2, and as you can see, it's a It's a break barrel, and I go into loads of detail in that video about why this gun is special. But just as a recap, my granddad is the person responsible for my passion in shooting, passion of shooting, and this was actually the first gun that I ever pulled a trigger on. So again, huge memories down the back of his garden shooting this. It was my introduction to shooting. I learned all of the basics with this gun, you know, breathing, trigger control, getting the sight picture, all of that all happened with this. And then unfortunately, you know, when he passed away, I inherited it. I would much rather it be him still owning this gun and in possession of it, but as I said in that video, every time I shoot it, every time I even see it, it makes me think of him, and to the point where it's actually quite grubby, it's quite dirty and could probably do with a very good clean, but I'm not going to clean it because it's his fingerprints on it. It's his the smell of his house. He was a very heavy smoker, so it's quite a musky smell, probably not to everybody's taste, but everything about it just reminds me of him, and I don't want to change it, I don't want to mess about with it. I just want it to remain exactly how it was when he had it. So yeah, again, another very, very sentimental piece. And on the same note, a gun that I don't think you've actually seen before. It might have appeared in the What's in My Safe video, but this was also a gun for my granddad's. It's a single shot 12 gauge hammer shotgun. I don't know what make or model it is. The only indication is that it says made in Spain on the barrel. It's actually in pretty good nick, seeing as it actually not only outdates me, but outdates my mum as well. So I won't embarrass her by how old this could be, but it's getting on. It's very old, it's very basic, it's not something I would ever have any interest in owning ordinarily, but again, being my granddad's, he passed it on to me, put it on my license, and you know, and I've had it ever since. I've never actually shot it. I do keep meaning to just go out and put a few rounds through it, maybe even take it to the playground as a laugh, but it's just purely sentimental, no functional value for me, just purely, again, another memory of my granddad. It's the one that he would go out pigeon shooting mostly, I believe, that he did with it. So that's, as I said, a common theme of these guns is the sentiment behind them, the memories behind them, and you know, the people behind them that may not be here any longer. I think it's a very important message to get out there, that a lot of people can't understand the fascination or even the passion behind shooting and firearms, and I think these are great examples of that. They are, at the end of the day, inanimate objects. They are just tools, and people find it very hard to understand why people get attachments to them. Well, I think I've just explained why you can have attachment to a gun and why you have a passion for shooting that sort of defies any reasonable logic. So there we go, guys, an update of the guns still about here on English Shooting, and the ones that I'm certainly most fond of and would never sell. Thank you very much for watching this video. Let me know below the guns that you would never sell in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you hit subscribe for more content like this. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I hope to see you soon.